Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Sports Central. We got a great show ahead of us. We got Keith Barefield, head coach of Southeastern University, their new football program. We also have Tommy and Caleb Lewis from Victory Christian High School here to talk to us about their upcoming season. And we're going to run out to Lake Wales to get a great interview with members of the U.S. Skydiving national team. Stick around, everybody, for this week's edition of Sports Central. Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan alongside Chris Caprios. This first segment of Sports Central brought to us by Sunsplash Vacation Homes. And I think probably the problem is I'm so excited. College football, high school football, it's here.
Do you smell that in the air? It's football.
It's
coming.
Football.
It's almost football.
Professional. The Buccaneers going to be playing tonight in their first preseason game against the Jacksonville Jaguars. But it's been a while since you and I have done the show together.
Yeah, it has. I'll see if I remember how to do this again. It's like every few months, and then.
You want to hear the worst joke ever?
Sure.
Hopefully we don't fumble through it.
Great start to the
enough
show.
of our horrible opening to the show, but we do want to welcome Keith Barefield, the new head coach of Southeastern University, the first head coach of Southeastern University as they start their first campaign this year. And Coach, welcome to Sports Central.
Happy to be here.
I don't even know where to start because that's probably how you felt when you were hired, because a new football program, you were hired, I believe you said December of 2012. Last year you guys practiced, but you didn't play. But now it's time to start camp. You've already started camp. Now you're actually going to start that first season of Southeastern football.
Well, it's absolutely a staggering realization when you realize that you've been named to the head coach position of a football team that doesn't exist. You don't have any players. You don't have any coaches. You really don't have an office. You don't have anything. And starting from scratch, and I'd never done that before, but it's been a very interesting experience. But it's been a very rewarding experience to be able to start from scratch and put together a coaching staff of what I consider an outstanding group of men to lead our players, and then also to bring in young men. Last year we had over 100 players last year. Anxious to start the football program at Southeastern. They worked hard, they practiced hard. We made a lot of progress, especially from introducing everything, because we didn't have anybody that knew anything about our system at all. And that's the first experience I had. I usually had veterans that could help my young guys catch on, but we didn't have anybody that could help anybody catch on. And but it was we got through it and had a great spring, and we're looking forward to what's going to be happening in about a month.
Well, and Coach, you talk about starting from scratch. I was thinking about that. I mean, what is the very first thing you do when you come on campus your first day, besides getting your office or whatever? Is it recruiting first? Is it worrying about the stadium? What's the first thing you did as you started this journey?
Well, you don't have anything. The first thing you do is pray. The first thing I did, the most important part of a football program, are the athletes. And it had gotten out, the word had gotten out that we were starting football at Southeastern, and there were lots of emails that people had been holding back. And so I had the avalanche of emails and telephone messages of young men that wanted to be a part of our program, and we started sifting through that. I started sifting through that. And then once I did that for a few weeks, I realized, please could I have some help doing this? And we added Richie Barsh, who was a native to Bartow in Polk County, and he came on as my defensive coordinator and my recruiting coordinator. And for the greater part of 8 months, we just put our nose to the grindstone and started recruiting. But we didn't have any more fertile place to recruit than right here in our own backyard in Polk County.
Let's talk about that because not only Polk County but the state of Florida. I know you spent some years in Alabama and some other universities and colleges coming down back to Florida to recruit, because everybody in the country comes to California, Texas, or California, Florida, Texas, or California, but a lot of them to Florida. Talk about recruiting. Obviously, it reduces your cost in recruiting, right?
Well, I'd say over 90% of our players are from the state of Florida. The great thing about the state is it has outstanding talent, but also it has outstanding coaches. So they're very well prepared when they enter college as a freshman. And we found out that there were just so many young men who didn't want to do like their predecessors. They wanted to stay in state. They wanted their families to be able to see them play on a weekly basis, not just maybe once a season, or if they're fortunate enough to fly up, up into the Midwest and Northeast and the Far West to see them on an occasion. And we had a very, very fertile group, a very talented group of men that were like that, and we were able to snag a few.
And talking about the recruiting process again with a brand new program, it's probably a catch-22. It's you can go into somebody's living room and say, hey, you're going to get to start a brand new program fresh, but at the same time, they may say, hey, I want to go to a school that is established, has some experience. What were some of the selling points other than brand new program, brand new stadium?
Well, first of all, we have a beautiful campus, and we have an outstanding academic program there with young men and women that have graduated and gone on and established themselves in the community, in the state, and all across the United States and even foreign countries. So we have a great product there, and that's something that parents especially are interested in their young men being a part of and being involved in. One of the other things that we have is one of the greatest cafeterias that I've ever been a part of in my coaching career. Usually you kind of shy away from that because you say it's institutional food, but they do a tremendous job, and that's just kind of downplaying when you say they do a tremendous job. It is actually a recruiting and selling point that not only the parents love about that. It's not mom's home cooking, but it's about as close as you can get to it without being at home.
I think I read you're getting a Chick-fil-A too, so there's a selling point right
we
there.
We have a Chick-fil-A in our student union. So
good for the offensive line.
Well,
then?
Coach, when we have you back on the show, we're going to need you to bring it. It is the lunch hour.
Well, all you had to do was say the word this time.
Well, I've got a question for you. And it's really a two-part question. And I read in the Ledger, of course, a great story today in the Ledger about your program and great partners of ours, Tourism Sports Marketing. But typically when a first-year program, that first season, the bar is set very low. Let's go out there, let's be competitive. You obviously, that's not the message you guys are, hey, we can do this right now. We don't have to be that 0 and whatever or 2 and whatever. You expect to be very competitive. But the second part of that is you start with Faulkner University, who's ranked number 9 in the country, I believe. So you're really kind of getting that message across the players that there's no reason that we have to be, quote unquote, bad in our first year, right?
Well, you really put me on the spot on this question, didn't you?
This is hard-hitting journalism.
The first thing I've had several people ask me who scheduled that first game. I said I don't know, but he should be fired. But it just happened to be me, so I said that tongue in cheek.
Right.
But anyway, they weren't ranked number 10 when we did schedule them, but they really developed their program over the last year or so, and they're on our schedule. They're number 10. There's nothing we can do about it other than go out, prepare, and get ready to do our best against them. And the way we look at it, the way I look at it, it's a week by week proposition. We don't look past anybody.
Right.
We don't look over anybody. We don't look around anybody. And a team like Faulkner, we would like to, but they're staring us right in the face, and they're going to be ready and prepared, and they're a talented bunch. So what we have to do is believe in ourselves, work hard, and go out there and give our best effort.
And really, he just blew my next question out of the water because you don't look ahead. But I think all eyes locally are on the September 13th game against Warner, another brand new program. But really, the opening of your brand new stadium too. That's got to be exciting for the players.
Well, it's exciting for the players, and it's also exciting for the coaches. I was on a tour last week of the stadium. I went on 2 tours with 2 different groups, and both times I stood in that stadium, and there was there are 2 feelings. Number one. There's a feeling, man, this is a pressure cooker. you have a multi-million-dollar stadium. You're going to have a multi-thousand-dollar fan experience. We sure don't want a nickel and dime football team playing in that.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for a great response there. But when you stand in that stadium and you look out, there is a feeling I can't explain. It is very comfortable. It is very fan-friendly. I think the people in the local area that comes out and they experience that. they will fall in love with that stadium, and hopefully they'll fall in love with the Southeastern University Fire football team as well.
Well, and it's got to be a great selling point for the university itself, because having the stadium on campus, you're not going somewhere else. It does give you that true home field advantage. You're not asking students to get in their car or use transportation to go somewhere else. They're right there. So really, talk a little bit about the experience that the fans might receive there. I know you're on the football side of things, but I'm sure you've heard of some special interactive or activities that the fans will get to do there.
Well, the one thing that stand out in my mind are really the show things. They're going to have different pyres or walls that the fire will be shooting up out of.
Oh, wow.
We'll run out from underneath. They'll have a special helmet, and they'll have the smoke coming out in the small things. And whenever we score, they'll have fire shooting up in the four corners, similar to what you might see like on how they when they introduce people in the NFL and things like that, and they'll have a fire siren that they say you can hear all the way from our stadium down here to Bartow. So it's going to be an unbelievable pyrotechnic show, if you will. We have a jumbotron. And I have no idea what they're going to put on there. Right now I'm just looking at the United States flag every day. And so, we have it's going to be fun. And like I said, when I went into that meeting, I went into a meeting just to give my stamp of approval of how the field was going to be laid out. And all the vice presidents in the room, all they could talk about was the fireworks that were going to happen. And so I went back and told my coaches, hey, we really don't have to worry about the scores of the game other than the fact we better score.
Yeah,
and we better have some fireworks.
Well, that's fantastic. And Coach, what are the expectations? Obviously, no coach wants to answer this question ever, but I'm going to put you on the spot again. What are your expectations for this first season for Southeastern Fire football?
Well, I'm not a prognosticator. I'd be a terrible weatherman. So I'm not going to go there, but I'll tell you this. What I expect from our football team is to go out on a weekly basis and compete and give their very best effort to win. And if we go and also not only just compete and give our best effort to win, but play up to the standards that are expected by Southeastern University, our administration, our students, our faculty, and we represent them the way that they want to be represented, I think we'll have a successful season no matter what our record is.
All right, well, Coach, we certainly wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we can have you back on the show during the season, or maybe call into our radio show on Talk 1430 WLKF right there in Lakeland. But good luck to you, and we wish you much success.
Thank you very much. I'd love to do it.
All right. Well, we're actually going to take a quick break here, and I'm going to jump in a helicopter and go down to Lake Wales for an interview that we're going to do live from the Lake Wales Airport.
Can't go with you?
No, you guys stay here and make sure that everything runs properly. But before we do that, we're going to check out some golf tips. Then we're going to be live talking with some U.S. National Skydiving, I knew I was going to do it, team members. We'll be right back here on Sports Central.
Welcome to Streamsong Resort. My name is Matt Jordan. I'm one of two PGA head golf professionals here at this lovely resort. Today I'm going to give you a tip about bunker play, specifically the greenside bunker. You know, the bunker is a very difficult shot for most of us golfers because it is a hazard. And when I say it's a hazard, what that means is it takes away feel from the game. When I walk into a bunker with the rules of golf, I'm not allowed to ground my club, which means set my club in the sand whatsoever. I have to hover it. Second thing I have to do is if I see a loose impediment, which is a stone or a leaf or a piece of trash, something that's in the bunker, I can't touch it. I have to leave it in the bunker. So I'm not able to improve my lie around my golf ball. The other thing too is when I get into the bunker, I'm not allowed to take a practice swing and ground my club at all. So the bunker is actually taking away all of feel. So what we're going to do is learn how to hit this shot and kind of produce some feel when we walk into it. First of all, when I have this shot, I'm going to be gripping my club the way I typically do, which is somewhere right in the middle of the grip. When I set up, I'm going to have what's called an open stance, and because I'm right-handed, my left foot is going to be slightly behind my right foot, and I've set these shafts down here to kind of talk about that. Also, I have what's called a target line, which is where my golf club is going to be aiming. Now, the leading edge of my golf club, the bottom part here, I need to have a line that's perpendicular. So when I hit this shot and I open it up, my club is actually going to point more to the right, which means my body will have to adjust more to the left to get this aiming at the target. A lot of us golfers, when we say open our club, they think that we need to move our hands back, and that's not the case. My hands are left in the center, and I just simply twist the club in my hands in order to get that open club. When I make my swing, after I open my face and my feet are open as well, I'm going to take a dollar bill's worth of sand. What that means is my club is going to hit behind the golf ball, and it's really cool because as I hit this shot, it's like a tidal wave of sand that's propelling the golf ball out. So I set up, hover my club over the sand, and I'm going to show you this demonstration as I make my swing, and I take a divot right underneath the golf ball. Now here's where feel comes in. As soon as I step into this bunker, I'm going to notice if I have soft sand or firm sand. What that means is if I have softer sand, I'm going to have to swing harder and take more of a divot. With firmer sand, I don't have to take as much of a divot. But what we're going to do is we're going to hit this shot firmer because we have softer sand. Even though I'm only going just a little ways out to this pin, I really have to accelerate through my golf swing. By doing that, I'm going to set up with my stance open, ball positions more in the center of my feet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to open my club head, aim, and take the dollar bill worth of sand. I hope this tip was very helpful. Please stay tuned for further tips with Sports Central.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan here, and for a special segment here from Skydive Lake Wales. This segment brought to us by Hungry Howie's, and really excited about this being at Skydive Lake Wales because we have some national and international champions here that we're going to talk to. Brian and Amanda Festi. You guys are training here, getting ready for the Worlds, and first of all, welcome to Sports Central. Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Parachuting. First of all, what would cause you to want to go up into a perfectly good plane and then jump out? That's my first question, really. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
Yeah, just a little bit.
But no, honestly, Brian, how'd you get involved in the sport?
Basically, my brother and I talked about it a lot when he was in college, and at his graduation, I wanted to do something special with him. And I went out to make a skydive and called him up and asked him to come out and make a jump with me. And he decided he wasn't going to make a skydive, so I just decided to continue on. And that was about 14 years ago.
And in the 14 years, you've done about 8,000 trips,
Yeah,
is that correct?
About 8,000 jumps.
All right.
So it's definitely a lot of fun. It takes me to a lot of interesting places, expands my horizons, and definitely keeps me active and healthy. So.
All right. Amanda, you've got a few less jumps, around 2,300.
Mm-hmm.
How did you get involved in skydiving?
Pretty similar story. It was something that I had always wanted to try, and I did a tandem skydive and just absolutely loved it. It opened up a whole new world of possibility, and I was a professional ballet dancer at the time.
Okay.
And I saw freestyle skydiving, and I was immediately drawn to it. So I then began to pursue my license and what I needed to do to become a competitive freestyle skydiver.
Well, speaking of freestyle, you're very accomplished in the freestyle world of jumping, and talk to me about, because there's the recreational side of, maybe somebody goes on vacation, they're in Central Florida, they want to go skydiving, but there's also a competitive side to that.
Absolutely.
And how did you get involved in that? And tell us a little bit. You're going to be humble, I can already see it, but tell us a little bit about some of the accomplishments that you guys have had, and now calling Lake Wales home for training.
Well, I always knew that it was something that I wanted to do. I was very lucky that my skydiving instructor was actually Hungarian national freestyle champion. So
that helps.
She introduced me to the possibility of competing in something like this, and I immediately set out to make it my goal and sought out people to coach me and mentor me and show me the path that I needed to follow. So my first competition was in 2009. at the USPA Skydiving National Championships, and much to my surprise, we placed bronze that year.
Wow.
So obviously that got us really excited to go back and train harder,
Right.
and to see what else we could accomplish. So we have medaled every year. Most recently, brought home a gold medal, and national champions that qualified us for the United States parachute team to go and represent the U.S. at the World Championships.
Which is coming up here in the month of August, correct?
Really, really close. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, let's back up a little bit before we talk about the World Championships and what you've done on the U.S. National Championship scene. Tell us about the freestyle. Obviously, you said you had a background in ballet.
Yes.
What goes into the freestyle aspect of the sport? And it's not just you, but you also have a partner up there, right?
Yes.
Who wants to answer it?
Pretty much freestyle skydiving is a performer-based, where you're doing flips and maneuvers, and we're presenting those to a judge. Some of the maneuvers are dictated to us by the judges. They kind of pick out which ones we're going to be doing. When Amanda is performing these maneuvers, it's my responsibility to capture her with the camera by the criteria that they present to us. So it's definitely a team effort. We have to make sure that we're working with each other, making eye contact with each other, and as soon as I come down, I have to turn over that video to the judge. Some of the composition of the skydives that we present to them is three-dimensional, very interactive, and that presentation aspect of the skydive is what the judges are looking for. So not only are they looking for technical aspects of what we do and how precise we are with the maneuvers, they're looking for that wow factor, and the way that we present that will provide this to the judges.
So it would be fair to say it's almost, if you think of it in terms of the Olympics, if they set criteria for diving or gymnastics, that you have to have these basic elements, and then how do you take those basic elements and make it even better for the overall presentation, and then you're scored on that from the video? Is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Since the judges are on the ground doing all the judging, I'm providing them that front row seat to what actually is happening. And part of that is if Amanda goes out of frame anytime, they'll deduct points from us.
I was just going to say, not only does she have to perform the maneuvers, but you have to capture them. So it literally does take, she can have the best show in the world, but if it's not on camera, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about your part. You know, you're trying to stay in the frame, you're traveling. How fast are you guys free falling at this point?
Ooh, the speeds range anywhere from 100 miles an hour to 180. I don't make it easy for him to keep me in frame. Some of the criteria, toes pointed, feet together, some of this pretty stuff that I have to do, it doesn't always go straight down. So he has to really fly. What I need to do is make sure that I keep eye contact with him, and that I make sure he's ready to go before we start the next maneuver together.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm off skydiving by myself, and he's off on another skydive just trying to chase me.
So there's a lot of, it's choreographed. There's a lot of, you know what her next move's going to be, you know where to be for that next combination or whatnot, and doing it at 100 to 180 miles an hour.
Yeah, we have to get it done.
Takes a lot of teamwork there. Well, talk to us about the U.S. Nationals. You did win the national championship in the freestyle. When was that? Where was that? And what did that mean to win a national championship?
Oh, it was my dream.
Right.
I was wide awake and dreaming. It was at Skydive Chicago, which is, where is that, Ottawa? It's in Ottawa, Illinois. It's a very large facility, and they host nationals. They actually are hosting the World Championships coming up in 2016, so we're really excited about that.
Home air advantage.
Yes, yes.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's something that we've been working towards for many, many years. The team that was U.S. team before us, they set the bar very high for us, and we've just been trying to come up with a good training plan and be disciplined, and it paid off this year.
And then winning the U.S. National Championship qualified you for the World Championships, which you're getting ready to go to this month in August, right?
Yes.
And where's that going to be at?
It's in the Czech Republic.
Okay. how many athletes are going to be there? And
We're basically competing with the best teams from all over the world. Some of these teams are people that I have looked up to for years and years. The current world champions, they are from France, and they are running back-to-back champions for 5 or 6 years now. They're really strong flyers, so we are grateful for the opportunity to compete with them and to learn from them.
all right. Well, originally you guys were training out of DeLand. But now you're here in Lake Wales predominantly. Talk to us about the facility here in Lake Wales. And I know we were talking off camera before we started the fact that you can do this up north, but only during a certain time of year. You can train year-round down here. And talk to us about the Lake Wales facility and what this facility means to your training. Brian?
The big thing about competition is not only are you investing a lot of money into paying for every time you go up and down in the airplane, but it's also a lot of background things also. Betty Hill and Billy Richards have been extremely supportive to us. There's a long time competition history at this drop zone. And we found it more beneficial for us to be here training. Yeah, it's a real nice atmosphere. The support of the staff here and the owners make it a lot easier for us to be more productive here.
In addition to that, the facilities are top-notch, as well as the aircraft. This is the aircraft that we will be competing out of.
Okay.
So it's very helpful for us to be training out of the same aircraft that we will be competing out of. Some other facilities in Florida are flying different types of aircraft that are similar but not quite the same. So
is it the specific aircraft will be over there, or one identical to it will be over there that you will be competing out of?
Well, actually, at the Worlds, we will be flying out of Turbolet, which is, this plane is as close as possible as we can get to a turbolet, but at the USPA Nationals, it will be this exact type of aircraft, not this particular plane, but
yeah. And the big thing about our competition is we're on a time clock. So as soon as we leave that aircraft, the clock starts, and we only have 45 seconds for our performance. So having the aircraft that we're training out of available to us is a big thing in us getting high scores and being successful at competition.
Right. What do you think it'll take to bring back a world championship? What kind of performance? Obviously the A game, right?
Yes,
the
absolutely.
A game, but you're confident you can go there and get it, right?
Yes, we're going to try. We're going to do the best we can. Unfortunately, a lot of it is the training, and the U.S. parachute team is one of very few delegations that are made up of completely self-funded athletes. So we are competing against a lot of athletes that have full sponsorship for skydives, for travel, for their registration, and a lot of these things we're having to cover the expenses ourselves, in addition to the training that we need to prepare for the meet. We have been able to train here more than we ever have as a team in the years past that we've been competing, so we feel really prepared this year. But more training, more training, more training. I think any athlete that competes at an international level will tell you that it's all about preparing.
This may be a completely silly question, but I gotta ask. Does the location, the air, do things change? Because a football field may be different from one facility to another. When you're coming through the air, the conditions, does that factor in at all?
Absolutely.
Okay, so not a silly question.
No.
I just didn't know the answer. How does that work?
Well, it depends on, there's a lot of stuff that it depends on how close to sea level you are.
Okay.
The air density.
A little bit, yeah.
But it can affect the speed in which you're going and those kind of things. So you've got to know how far in front of a competition will you guys arrive to train on site before you actually compete?
We'll be arriving 10 days.
Okay.
before the competition to allow us to adjust to the time change and to familiarize ourselves with the surroundings, because the view is going to be very different from what we're used to seeing here. So we want to familiarize ourselves with the new aircraft, make sure that our bodies are feeling very good physically for competition, and that, you know, we're familiar with the surroundings and we're not in the middle of competition looking over our shoulder like, are we over the drop zone, or...
All right, well, that's fantastic, and Amanda and Brian, we certainly wish you the best of luck, and hopefully we can have you back on Sports Central and talk about your World Championship. But just another testament to the world-class facilities we have here in Polk County. Again, Brian and Amanda Festi, we wish them good luck at the World Championships, and hopefully they'll bring that back to Polk County. We're going to go ahead and head to commercial break, and stick around for some more Sports Central right here on PGTV.
We have kids from all over the state come to play this. You have singles and doubles events, and a lot of good players from some academies around Florida, and local players come out to play.
Buenos días, estamos aquí en Lakeland. We are here playing a tennis tournament in Lakeland. It's a super series.
Today I won my first match.
I'm playing 4 teams and I'm going to play only one match today.
I served very good and was very consistent with my forehand. Score was 6-0, 6-0. You have to make 4 points to make a game, and you have to make 6 games to make a set, and you have to make 2 sets to win.
I think around 170 kids showed up to play. It's good for the Polk County because a lot of the local players get more motivated to play the tournaments and brings a little money into the area, you know. But we do the Super Series twice a year, and then we have 2 other tournaments in January and then in the fall.
I've been playing for 5 years, and I train at Gazar's Tennis Academy, which is down in Kissimmee. And I travel around and play nationals and designated. But whenever I do, I play here, and I really like it.
I'm trying to go pro right now. I played this tournament probably since I was 10 years old, and I won it a couple times in the 18s and 16s.
I really like this place. It's so nice and organized, and it sounds childish, but I like the park by here, and it's just really fun playing.
Pretty much you start off to play futures, and you got to qualify, and they all over the world really, Florida, all over America, Mexico, international. But right now I'm going to try to stick in Florida and see if I can get going, you know.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan alongside Chris Caprios. And
I'm still adjusting to the light from that being outside in the bright.
It was very
sun.
bright.
Yeah.
It was very bright. Now it's very dark in
tell.
here, so I can't really tell. But this segment brought to us by Hampton in Winter Haven. Want to give a special thank you to Brian and Amanda Festi. Good luck to them competing in the World Championships of skydiving and the freestyle, and some really great athletes that train here in Polk County, and they're part of that.
I don't know what was more impressive, though, you getting all the way over there and back and the amount of time you did, or just what they were actually doing in that footage there.
I realized I was a big part of that, wasn't I?
Was.
But
It was good.
the sunglasses, we might start wearing them on set in studio.
I know, I was ready.
Okay, or not. Great athletes training here in Polk County. We got a couple. We got a great football coach, and we got a great athlete that's going to join us now. That we're part of a state championship. Just came up a little bit short last year. Made the state finals rather. From Victory Christian, we have Coach Tommy Lewis and Caleb Lewis. And guys, thank you so much for coming out and joining the program here on Sports
Thanks
Central.
for having us. Appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Did you see my interview there?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
You like that?
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But guys, you made it last year to the Class 2A state finals, losing, I believe it was 14-7, and that near miss obviously has you re-energized this football season to get there and finish, if you will. I think we read an article in the Ledger talking about wanting to get back, finish the task, and what was that experience? I'll first start with you, Caleb. What was that experience last year like for you?
I mean, it's always tough to lose. You play the game to win, and coming up short, it did definitely motivate the guys that came back the next year in the off season to work really hard, dedicate themselves to the weight room, on the field and in the classroom to stay eligible, and just that drive to achieve something greater than we did the year before, and especially the seniors that are coming back because it's your last time around. So.
Right. And you lose 18, Coach, you lose 18 seniors off of last year's deep playoff run there to the state finals. Each team's different. I know Jimbo Fisher, talking about the national championship last year with Florida State, he said, we're not trying to defend anything. This is a completely new team, and you probably as a coach can really understand what he's saying with that. How do you take the new components you have in this team and make that run again?
Right. Well, you certainly look back on history because that is, as you've mentioned, a motivator. To know that our program got that close to winning it all is a motivator for everyone involved. And so you want to build on that. But there's no question this is a new team, new components to the team, and so it's a new chemistry with new goals, new season. So, we look back at last year, but then everything from here moving forward is all about, okay, what can this team do? How well can this team come together and achieve its goals?
Well, Neil's really trying to throw salt in that wound, but I want to look forward, though.
Just trying to build the story here.
Caleb, you talked about really attacking it this offseason. Did you do anything different than you did last offseason, just knowing the goal that was ahead now?
I wouldn't say it was different. It was just more maybe the volume of it all, and just the focus to the task at hand, and really just being dedicated and deliberate in everything that we did to make sure we capitalized on every opportunity that we had to improve.
Well, you're talking about the losing 18 seniors, but you do have a new player this year who actually only played organized football for the first time last year, but he has a good pedigree when it comes to who his father is. Of course, we're talking about Alvin Harper Jr., AJ, as he goes by, a new receiver for you, and he's getting recruited all over the place, as are you. But what's it like to have a new weapon like AJ?
It takes a lot off of me, definitely, to have a great receiver, someone who can just go get the ball, when we need a big play. Obviously, I haven't played in the game yet, but what I've seen from him in practice and in 7-on-7s and just the work that he puts in and the insight that his dad has been able to give to us, it's going to be exciting to play with him for this year.
Fantastic. Alvin Harper, a Polk County Sports Hall of Fame inductee, so of course people recognize that name. But go back to you again, Caleb. Most of the time you think about school starting. Man, I don't want to go back to school. But as a football player, it's got to be the best time of year to be going back to school because it's time to start playing, start gearing up. So as you all prepare for that first game, and it's a team that you're familiar with, you played last year. Do you do anything different going into that first game, again, coming off of a season like last year?
No, I think the routine that we have had it's worked, and we've been successful with it. Just staying focused in practice these next 2 weeks leading up to that game will be really important, be a catalyst for the rest of our season. because the first game you start with a win, it's a motivator because you taste that winning one time and you want it every single week. So,
Coach, obviously with Caleb calling the signals and running the offense for you out there on the field, who are some of the other players that you have either coming back or we already talked about AJ? Who are some of the other players that are going to be key contributors, or at least you see being key contributors for you this season?
Right, we have a group of 6 rising seniors that were on last year's team. That look forward to building around. Caleb obviously being one of them. Brandon Nellage and Dallas Pope are 2 linemen, our senior linemen, that will look for a lot of leadership up front. And everybody knows you win and lose the game in the trenches, so that their leadership and bringing along the younger guys and the newer guys will be key. And then Bryce Ford and Jethro Francois on the defensive backfield. And so it's good to have those field generals out there on the defensive side of the ball. And then Josiah Powell is a player that was a key role player for us last year. And even as a role player, he had 3 interceptions, led our team in interceptions last year. And so those are the guys we'll be building around. And then we were fortunate enough to get some transfers in the offseason, 6 other seniors that will all be looking to contribute and really help us each Friday night this coming season.
What do you do to, especially early in the season, blend all that together to get some chemistry? Because obviously you had great chemistry last year. What do you do as a coach or coaching staff to get that again?
Sure, and that's the challenge. Last year's team, actually Caleb and I were the new components. Those guys had kind of played together, and so generating and developing that team chemistry wasn't quite as difficult. But this year with those 18 seniors gone, and the influx of 6 new seniors, with I think just as many juniors as well. That really is the challenge, because I think we're talented. I mean, when you have guys like A.J. Harper and Cecil Cherry and DeAndre Smith and some others that have come in, we have talent. It's just a matter of getting that talent to work together and become a team, and that is the challenge. And how do you do it? Well, you keep working hard every day. You emphasize, you make that a focus. You really talk about it. I mean, we talk about very openly about our team chemistry and coming together. So it is one of the key components that, we can be talented, but if we're not playing together, it's going to be a long season.
Right.
And Caleb, I'll ask you this because I know coaches hate or they don't like to answer this question. Is there anybody on the schedule this year, as you look at it, anybody you're circling, I can't wait to play this team, or for whatever reason? Coaches never answer that question, but
we're asking you to give the billboard or the
bulletin board
material.
It could be for a positive reason, but it probably isn't.
Well, really, any team we lost to, 4 games we lost last year. We redeemed ourselves once against St. Edwards. We lost them in the regular season, then beat them the first round of the playoffs, and that's going to be a big game again this year. For me personally, Berkeley Prep is a big game because we gave the game away in that game, and in Cardinal Mooney. Really, any of the games we lost, ready to get them back. And then, of course, playing Champagnat Catholic again in the state championship and beating them would be so sweet.
So, you got all that guys, Cardinal Mooney, Berkeley Prep coaches, and Champagnat.
Well, he did a good job, though. He didn't key in on one specific team.
On one
pretty
team.
general. He's getting ready for college and beyond.
Obviously, you're being recruited. You want to play college football. Tell us a little bit about that process, because as we've heard with major college football and now the Power 5 conferences, and part of that you see that they're going to be able to control things a little more than the NCAA. And I think one of the things I read was unlimited texting or something like that. Tell us about the recruiting process and how that's been for you.
It's been pretty hectic, really. It's as a player, it's you got to keep yourself from being too down on yourself when you're not getting recruited by the schools you want to get yourself seen by, and at the same time staying humble and grounded when a school's maybe like blowing you up to maybe more than you really are. So seeing through those two things and just staying within your identity and being sure of who you are in your game, and really staying focused on the season, because really that's what matters right now, and the rest will come. So with recruiting, I've been blessed to make some really good relationships with some coaches. Had some very good visits, some really good camps, but right now it's Victory Christian season. It's our time to play. So that's really what the focus is right now.
I'm going to take it one step further than he did. Any favorites? You want to go ahead and just announce now?
No.
You didn't bring the hats with you?
No, I didn't. I left them in the car.
We know some people too. We just had a coach here, so we can make some connections. But
well, we certainly wish you guys good luck, and hopefully you can get back to that deep playoff run that you guys had last year, and wish you all success the upcoming season. Maybe during the season we can have you back on.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Neil. Thanks, Chris.
Good luck to both of you. Great football program. Another great program we have here in Polk County is the Visitor Services volunteers called Diplomats of Tourism. They operate out of Polk Outpost 27 at I-4 and 27. What they give back to the county is just incredible, and the amount of money they save the county in tourism, sports marketing. We're going to go ahead and catch up with one of those volunteers, and they're going to talk to you about what they do at Polk Outpost 27. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back right here on PGTV for Sports Central.
We got involved with that with a lady named Faye Downing that was a part of the Tourist Development Center way back when, and we put our names in when we found out that this facility was going to be built, my wife and I, and we said we want to volunteer because we're long-term residents of Polk County and Davenport in particular, and we thought we could bring some help to tourists coming into Polk County. We like meeting the people, and it's really amazing how many people you can meet from various countries and states, and even the local people that find out about this place and come up here. And that's the part we enjoy, helping them out wherever they're going. Hopefully it's in Polk County, but wherever they're going in the state, we like to help them out here. In our travels around the county, as we go from city to city or wherever we are, and we introduce the Polk Outpost, we ask people, have you ever heard of Polk Outpost? Yeah, we've heard of it, but we don't know where it is. So first of all, we tell them where it is, and we tell them the opportunities they can have up here to find out about all the things that Polk County holds with the brochures and what have you, and even have a country store up here that they can shop at if they want to. And these people take interest in that and come up here. This place is worth to the visitors and especially to the residents of the county in that it holds a wealth of information about the entire county, and we feel it's our job as DOTS to relate that information to everybody we can meet. And we can even go to meetings and hand out information. We carry our visitors' guides when we go to various meetings and pass them out. And it just brings a wealth of information to the community. Enlist the people that we know, and we've done that in the past, and hopefully they've taken it under their wing to come up here and sign up. I don't know exactly where we stand now, but we're ambassadors for the county first and foremost, but we're ambassadors for the outpost because we've been here since inception, and we feel that we owe it to the people in the communities and to the county itself to help out since we're long-term residents.
Everybody, welcome back to Sports Central. Neil Duncan alongside Chris Caprios, and this last segment will be brought to us by Hollywood Signs right here in Bartow, but Polk Outpost 27 and the Diplomats of Tourism. I know you and I have been associated with tourism and sports marketing for a long time, and that program has just been a constant value to Polk County.
Oh yeah, and Mark Jackson, since he's not here, I'll say it for him. He always says, and it's true, they give us the one thing that they can never get back, and that's their time. Right. They volunteer so much time, and they're such a great resource to the visitors that come into Polk County. Mm-hmm. They know this county just like we do, or just like better than anybody else. Yeah. And they are able to assist our visitors and get them on their way.
Well, and the neat thing about it is if you think of what it would cost tourism and sports marketing to essentially have to double their staff up there at Outpost 27. Right. So they, as you said, they give it their time, they give it their talents, and great asset for us up there at Polk Outpost 27. Speaking of Polk Outpost 27, Justin and the whole crew doing a great job. The ticket sales, we want to remind everybody, we know summer is starting to wind down. School's going to go back into session in a couple of weeks, but if you're looking for the last chance in the summer, right after school starts, whatever the situation might be, go to Legoland, Florida, Bach Tower, Polk Museum of Art, all those things. Get the information at Polk Outpost 27, but there's also discounted attraction tickets.
That's the way to do it if you're going to go to those attractions. You get the tickets there. You don't have to wait in the line. Once you get there, you jump right in and start having fun at Legoland or Bach Tower, any of the great places here in Polk County.
Absolutely. As we are here in our local update, we want to talk about the World Shoot. It's right around the corner. It's going to essentially be the whole month of October, but the date you need to circle on your calendar is October 12th. That's a Sunday. It's going to be the Parade of Nations and opening ceremonies. It's an Olympic-style opening ceremonies. Going to start there at the Lakeland Center. Best way to describe it, Chris, would be basically the Christmas parade route, but it stops at Lake Mirror, right? Would that be the best way to say it?
Everybody loves a parade, right? Isn't
Absolutely.
that what they say? So, and this really will be cool. It's kind of like an Olympic opening ceremony is right here in our own backyard as they'll parade through downtown Lakeland and then down to Lake Mirror for the big festivities, fireworks show, and all
Absolutely. And some other surprises that are going to be planned. We won't tell you all of it, but definitely there's going to be fireworks as part of that event, Olympic style. You don't get a chance very often to see this type of activity.
Right.
Over 70-plus countries coming in to Polk County for the World Shoot. So October 12th, go ahead and put that on your calendar. Really the one public event for this event. You can go down to Universal Shooting Academy to see that, but the amount of people into there are going to be limited. So if you want to see a great event, October 12th in Lakeland.
And really, this is, if not the biggest, one of the biggest events that we have ever hosted in Polk County. It's on an international scale, again, comparing it to Olympic-type event, where the entire world is coming here to Polk County.
Well, and we've talked about in our office, we basically went after, with Frank Garcia, the Super Bowl of shooting events, and now we've hosted a bunch of playoff events at Universal Shooting Academy, and the events that we are getting now because the World Shoot has been hosted here, so the economic impact is not only for the World Shoot itself, but all the other associated events, all these people coming in from the 70-plus countries. So a big coup for Polk County, and really looking forward to it.
Yeah, and speaking of economic impact, we always talk about the impact that the Detroit Tigers have on our community. Also going along with that, the Lakeland Flying Tigers, right in the, actually coming towards the end of their season, so if you want to go check out Flying Tigers baseball, you got to do that now. But huge impact they have, and now's a perfect time to go check them out.
Yeah, and recently announced, I know we've talked about it on Sports Central, but you really can't be overly excited about the fact that the Tigers have reached an agreement with the city of Lakeland to keep spring training, keep the Tigers spring training here for 20 more years. So by the time that agreement's done, they will have been here over 100 years, which is fantastic.
It's unbelievable to think about that they will be celebrating 100 years here in Polk County very soon.
And it doesn't hurt that they're in the midst of being front runners again in the American League Central, and they could possibly win the division for the fourth straight year.
Signing a guy like David Price doesn't hurt the chances to go to the World Series.
When you have three of the last three Cy Young Award winners now on the roster and in the rotation for the Tigers. So Lakeland Flying Tigers, that's where they all start when they were trying to get to that big league team. Some other events we got Friday, August 15th and Saturday, August 16th, the Florida Orange Blossom Table Tennis Series Summer Open 2014. That's a lot to say.
It is.
But it's a great event, and that's going on there at Simpson Park in Lakeland.
And this isn't, the table tennis that you go in your rec room at home and play. These guys are good. Guys and girls are very good.
Logan and I, my son Logan and I play.
Well,
and, we're not bad.
I've seen these people play before.
Okay, so don't mess with
I've seen
them.
you play too, and Logan. He's good, but not that
He's
good.
not that good. Florida ISA Gold State and Women's State Championships. That'll be the 16th and 17th of August. That'll be at Lois Hart Park. Of course, a softball event, and you can't say enough about ISA and the events they bring to Polk County.
Yeah, you talk about economic impact. ISA is another one that's been giving that economic impact for years here in Polk County, not only based here, but you mentioned that event. They also have the August Blast event coming up as well. And it's basically almost every weekend, if not every other weekend or once a month, there is an ISA event here in Polk County, and we're proud to have them not only headquartered here, but having their events here as well.
Yeah, and basketball. We've talked football on today's show and Polk County football, and now 3 colleges playing big-time football, but Basketball is also a tremendous sport here in Polk County. Of course, the state championships, girls and boys, held here. But Basketball Unlimited LLC Girls Basketball Skills Camp, that'll be August 23rd. This is for 4th through 12th grade participants. So check that out. You can go to basketballunlimitedllc.com for more information or to sign up.
Yeah, and we're really running the gamut of sports here that that are just coming up in the next few weeks or few months, and that's really kind of typical of what we host here in Polk County. It's not just one or two sports. We have a little bit of everything. So we've talked baseball, we've talked shooting, what else? Table tennis. And now we also are going to talk some soccer, of course, with FYSA headquartered here. We also have the Disney Soccer Showcase, a qualifying event coming up very, very soon, the end of August here in Polk County as well.
Yeah, around that whole Labor Day time period. Let's change it again. The Florida ISA Twilight. Again, we're talking about ISA. They're going to have an event on the 6th and 7th, and that's at Bartow.
I told you it was every week or every
555 complex. Great stuff there. Florida ISA Adult Regionals. So a lot of softball. You know, historically, baseball and softball have been really, really powerful economic engines for Polk County. But we were talking earlier, like you said, really diversifying that portfolio. An event I want you to talk about, the Central Florida Throwdown. Tell us about that.
Well, we just talked about how we could never compete with the table tennis people that are going to have that event.
Yep.
If I did CrossFit, I probably wouldn't be able to walk for about a week.
No.
But the
even talking about it makes me tired.
The Central Florida Throwdown is coming up September 6th and 7th. And that's hosted by the CrossFit out of Lakeland, CrossFit Fenrir. They all have a different name to them, and this is the one, I believe, in South Lakeland. And they'll be hosting a fitness competition. It will take place right in Lakeland, and it's a great event. And again, I probably wouldn't be able to walk to the door even just thinking about some of the things they do. But I don't know, you should be good. You just jumped in a helicopter, went over and back, or running around. You should be fine to do some CrossFit.
My frame may not tell the whole story, but I am very fit, and I'm quite a high-tune athlete. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, exactly.
It's absolutely not true.
Yeah.
Hey, we talked about the World Shoot, and when you recruit an event like that, it allows you the ability to recruit other events that are high profile. And I want to talk about an event that you and your staff have recruited that's coming to Polk County, completely not on the sports side of things, but again, it's about that economic impact. Skills USA. Tell us about it. What is it? When is it? And what's the impact look for Polk County?
Well, Skills USA really is it's a conference and a competition. It's technical skills, but also it's for high school all the way to college. So it's a benefit not only on the jobs and skills side of things, but like you said, the economic impact. We're talking 2,000 students and their families that will be coming here for 3 years in a row, 2015, 16, and 17. And they compete in competitions from hairdressing, if you're going to go in that type of career, to HVAC, AC repair, to computer repair, you name it. And it's one of the competitions where they're going to be here in Lakeland for 3 years. We're excited about it.
Well, you're going to be hearing more about that event. Of course, that event is going to take sponsors, as this show and the Tourism and Sports Marketing Program takes sponsors. We want to thank some of those sponsors that helped make this show possible. Contempo Vacation Homes, Harry's Seafood Bar and Grill, the Ledger Media Group, Hungry Howie's, Sunsplash Vacation Homes, just some of the great partners making this show and tourism and sports marketing possible.
Oh yeah, we rely on every one of them for all these events we're talking about. It always takes partners, and the community as a whole comes together, and especially them.
We would like to thank you for watching, and we remind you to always go to centralfloridasports.com or visit centralflorida.org, or give us a call at 863-551-4750 for more information. We also would like to talk about the radio version of Sports Central.
You
Talk
can't
about
get
partners.
enough of us, yeah.
Well, which we know you can. But tune in to Talk 1430 WLKF.
Well, maybe not me, because I'm not on that much.
Would you mind? I'm trying to finish here. Every Thursday from 5 to 6 p.m. And also, we do a sports hour on Talk 1430 WLKF. Spit that out. From 7 to 8 a.m. every Tuesday morning on Mayhem in the AM. So great partners there. The next edition of Sports Central will come to you on Friday, August 22nd. Until then, you can catch this show or portions of this show at the following dates and times. For Chris Caprios, this is Neil Duncan. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Central, and we'll see you again next time.
I think so.
All right, we're gone.